I'm Mitch Shoemaker, and this is day 3 of my doing 100 days of YouTube videos and focusing on my writing. So, yay, made it to day 3, 97 to go. Yes, I like doing a little countdown thing. Anyway, so tonight, this morning, whatever, when I got off of work and before I decided to go to bed, I decided to do my writing. I really need to flip my schedule around where I actually write before I go to work instead of after work. I think that would work better for me because right now it seems like I can stay awake and focus and do my little writing thing, but then I'm like in the back of my head, I'm like, I'm really tired. Look at the time. I really need to go to bed. And then the crazy thing that happens to me, or at least that happened to me today, is I did that writing. And then, of course, I get all of these new ideas as to what I need to do, what I think that I'm done. And I'm like, no, God, I'm done. And he's like, yeah, but this is a good idea. And this, I'm like, okay, fine. So I need to retitle my chapter 1 and to basically combine chapter 1 and chapter 2 of The Fall of Espinglanja because I just decided I didn't need it to be like a 1 or 2 page for the first chapter. I guess that's okay, but I was kind of like, and I could probably delete some of it, but then I was like, nah, I kind of like it the way that it is. But then I realized that I was describing something, and I described it previously with much more detail, and this one didn't have as much detail, and I was looking at it, I'm like, it's okay. And I think I did that because my mentor wanted me to make it a little bit more concise, which I did, but then I'm looking at it, I was like, no, I think it's cooler if it has the more detail. It makes it more intense with the story. And then I was writing in my journal because I wrote in my journal. Yay, I wrote in my journal again. 2 days in a row for journal writing, 3 days in a row for working on my book writing. So, yay for writing, doing more writing. But anyway, I'm writing in my journal and then I'm just playing in my head that I'm like, something doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense in my story. And I'm like, it does. And I'm like, it doesn't. And it does. It does make sense in my head, but it's not been explained to the reader in my story. And I was like, oh, and I have to find a way to go back and write it and explain it to the reader. So then, of course, it makes me want to open up my laptop and do some more writing. But then I'm looking at the time and how tired I am, and I'm like, I can't think clearly to type stuff up right now. It was not a good idea. So it's like, it's hard for me to just tear myself away and stop thinking about it once I get started. It's like I just start saying a prayer, I start typing up, and I think Heavenly Father just gives me the words, the ideas, and it's awesome. And right now I'm in the process of trying to revise and rewrite this entire book, and I can't seem to get past the first chapter, which is really frustrating. I don't know how many times I've rewritten this first chapter. Honestly, I don't. I have so many different versions of this first chapter, but I'm feeling a little bit more confident about it. And like I said, I want to add that. And then I realized that it needs to have some more description about the powers because I don't know how much this is a giveaway of anything in my books or my stories, but just spouting ideas here. But anyway, when the powers are all combined, people can use the other people's powers, the teachers, or anyone that has powers that are combining their powers can use the other person's power, so they have more power or can do other things that they can't normally do by themselves. So the things that are happening or that the characters that's watching all of this is describing happening is happening because of multiple powers being combined together, but the vision or what they're seeing wouldn't be possible without all the powers combined together because the one person that called them there wouldn't be able to see everything that he's showing them in the vision. It's something that's added to or enhanced, seen from different angles, additional people, whatever, because of the additional powers involved. So I feel like I need to explain that a little bit better because I want it to be clear that it's like as an individual, they can only do so much with their powers. It's limited. Shared, whichever powers are shared can, merge, overlap, increase, or decrease other people's powers. There may be something more I need to do with Lanoya and the Teachers of Powers, like at the end of the book. Spoiler alert on that one. When they start combining their powers as her lessons or something, or that could be another book. I don't want to write another book about that. Oh my goodness. See, my brain's always coming up with ideas for more. It's like I need to Somehow it doesn't turn off though. I would love to just be like, okay, it needs to turn off, because I can always keep changing. I can always keep adding. At some point I need to be like, okay, this is enough. This works the way that it is. And I obviously, I mean, I can't please everyone, but I'm having a hard time just pleasing myself and making it look good or work. And I'm like, no, I want this, I want that. And I'm working on reading a friend's book to do a review on Amazon. And I like kind of the idea of writing it because I can see her writing style and pattern and things. And I was writing in my journal about that, and it was kind of cool because I realized I'm like, I can't write my book the way that she does. One, because I have way more characters in my book than she does in hers, so I can't do the conversations because she doesn't like tag the conversations, like indicate who's speaking. You just kind of get it from the context, which works for her book. But when you got 14 people in a room, you can't just have a random conversation flowing and not know who's saying what. So you kind of have to tag who's saying what in the conversation, because it's not just between two people. So that's not feasible for me to do in my book. But it was kind of, I mean, it's kind of cool for me to see that I have a different writing style than someone else, and that what someone else is doing doesn't necessarily work for me or for my book. It doesn't make mine right or hers right or wrong. I mean, they're both different. They're both good, because hers is good and I think mine is good too. So that's kind of, but I mean, it was just kind of cool for me to see a different way for other people to do it, and then to be reminded that mine is unique. So once again, as a writer, I have a unique story to tell. I have a unique viewpoint, a unique way of sharing my story with other people. And so my writing voice is going to be different from other people's. And that's why it's important for me to share it, because no one else, even though they have similarities or things to it, no one else has my story. No one else can tell my story. And as I'm writing someone else's story, I'm like, I would never even think of that story. Like, that doesn't even pop into my head as something, maybe something I would watch on a Hallmark movie, but not necessarily something that I would ever think to write about. That's just, my brain doesn't go to stuff like that. So that's kind of, I mean, it's cool to just see the differences, and I appreciate that. And then, of course, I have another friend that posted on Facebook that she's finished a book, or she's ready for beta readers for her books. Um, and then I said I'd be happy to beta read hers if she would beta read mine, because I'm trying to get responses for beta readers on my book. So I was like, hey, perfect opportunity, right? I was like, I don't know what I'm thinking. I'm taking on more work. I think I'm Wonder Woman again. I can do everything, right? I can't even figure out my schedule and how to get it on a system to where I'm actually getting enough sleep. Because I mean, I have the great idea. It's a great idea. I know that the Lord put it in my head, keeps prompting me, this is how I should do it. I should get up at 10 o'clock in the morning. I should work for 5 hours. I mean, time to read my scriptures and meditationals, time to shower, time to exercise, time to write, time to clean, time to whatever. I got 5 hours. Go to work from 3 to midnight. That's a 9-hour day. I can do that. I can come home. I can get something to eat. I can write in my journal. I can go to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm giving myself 8 hours to sleep. But even if I don't fall asleep right away, I can still get like at least 7 hours of sleep. That'll be good, right? It's a good schedule for me. I'm a night owl. I'll be up all night anyway. So what do? I go to work at 7 o'clock tonight, and I go home at 2:30 in the morning. And I don't even know what time it is. It's after 5 o'clock right now, and I haven't even gone to bed yet. But at least I've written in my book, and I'm doing my YouTube video, and I've written in my journal. So yay! But no, I slept in today because I got home late and did late yesterday. So it's like I do late one day and it just kind of rolls into the next day and the next day and the next day. And I'm like, I gotta stop. I need to tailor it back somehow. And I was gonna try to do that today. And I was gonna try to write before today. And it didn't work. It didn't work at all. Life continues to happen. So I continue to set goals and ideas as to how I'm going to organize my life. And then it just organizes itself some other way, and I was like, and I want to give up. Like, I just am so tired, and I'm like, it's not working. But then I have my lovely little board, and I have that thing that says "Don't stop." President Nelson's quote picture says "Don't stop," and I was like, why do I have to keep seeing that on my board? It's just like that I'm capable of more than I give myself credit for, and I love it. But it irritates me because it means that I have to do more work. It means that I can do more things that I need to stop, that I can't stop that I need to stop getting in my own way, that I need to continue to work, continue to do, because I am capable of more than I give myself credit for. Ah, that is one I will not forget because it keeps playing in my head. And then, of course, my little other one, don't let the fear of success stop you from succeeding, which is what I feel like I do sometimes because I get right close to the end and then I just stop. And I'm only 3 days in and I'm like, I'm done. I'm done. I just want to sleep. But I'm like, if I do that, then I'm afraid I won't pick it back up again. Or I will eventually. I just don't know when I'll pick it back up again. And I don't want that kind of disappointment right now, especially when I'm kind of still on a little bit of a high because I did 100 days of gratitude. And I'm grateful I did my 100 days of gratitude because it showed to me that I can do it and then I can write in my journal. And I wrote about things that I'm grateful for and things that worked out and how my day panned out. And I'm grateful I could do that too. So even though today didn't obviously go the way that I planned, I still did most of the things that I put on my to-do list today. I still read my scriptures and meditationals. I still went to work. I still read part of my friend's book. I'm not even sure if I'm halfway through that thing yet, but I'm reading it so I can write a review that I should have done last week. But I'm trying. I'm trying to follow through on things that I said I was going to do. I'm just behind and playing catch up. And once I get caught up, I think it'll be really nice. But I think I'm also afraid of being caught up because then I'm like, what am I going to do with my extra time? Sleep. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sleep. I'm going to catch up on my sleep. Or I'm going to have time to do other things. Or I'm going to realize that I never had any extra time to begin with, and I'm going to wonder where I'm going to come up with extra time when I run out of 100 days and have to add something else to my schedule because I'll be like, there is no room for anything else in my schedule. So it's going to be one of those crazy things, I'm sure. But I know it's going to take some time to adjust and to figure out and to get some kind of a system going. Figured out how to do it with my videos before, and granted they were like at a different time every day, but I still did them. They're still at a different time for the past 3 days, but they've all been like early in the morning, which is, I mean, early in the morning for anybody that's checking the time of when I do these videos, but it's actually kind of, to me, I'm just seeing it as late at night because I still haven't gone to bed yet from the day before. So it's, to me, I'm like, it's the end of my Thursday, it's not Friday yet. But I'm sure there's some people that are getting up to start their Fridays right now because they're insane, and I don't know why people get up this early in the morning. I know they do, but I've been one of those people because I had to work at this hour in the morning when I was a school bus driver. I loved the job, I just didn't love the hours, which is why I don't do that job anymore. Well, one of reasons I don't do that job anymore. And now I'm rambling because I'm tired, and that's what I do. I ramble and I go off on random tangents on things that don't make any sense and don't have anything to do with my writing. But I'm grateful that I did my writing. I'm grateful that I have more ideas as to how to fix my chapter 1 to make it something that I am comfortable with, that I like, so that hopefully I can move on to chapter 2 and continue to revise my book. And hopefully I will be able to get through the entire book at some point sooner than later. And then I will have a third book that's finished that I need to get to beta readers. And hopefully by that time I will have some responses back, more than just 1 or 2 responses, because I'm going to start pestering my beta readers so I can start doing revisions on my Lanoia book so I can get that one published. And then I'm going to have to start bugging my friend about the book covers because I really want a cool book cover before I publish them. And she's like, oh, you can publish them without a cool book cover and then do the book cover later. And I was like, no, I don't want to do it that way. I want the book cover because if people see the book cover, they're more inclined to want to buy the book. If it's just a boring book, then they're going to have to see the title or the name. I'm like, nobody's going to find my book. Nobody's going to read my book if it doesn't have the cool book cover. And I have the cool book cover idea in mind. I lack the artistic abilities in order to draw what I want or to create what I want, which is why I need other people to do it for me. And I know other people that can do it. I just need to convince them that they want to use their time to help me. I haven't quite convinced them of that yet. But I mean, for my friend, I know she was in the process of moving and now she's moved. So she's probably in the process of unpacking and settling into her new place. So giving her some time to do that. And until my book is ready to the published point, I'm not like desperate for the book cover just yet. But I hopefully getting closer to that. I don't know. anyway, lots of different things to work on, lots of different things I'm rambling about, and maybe over the next, I would say 100 days, but we're 3 days in, so the next 97 days, that some of these things will kind of come together, fall into place, and will work out, because now I'm focusing on my writing. I'm still doing gratitude. I still wrote a bunch of things that I'm grateful for in my journal, including the fact that I remembered to actually put the sticker on my car showing that my registration is completed. I mean, it's done. I have the new registration in my car. It's just now I have a sticker that says 21 instead of 20 on it. So hopefully I won't get pulled over for that. And then, of course, took an hour to get new light bulbs for the license plate, because the guy accidentally broke it and had to get somebody else to come help and fix it. And now it's like taped back together, but hopefully it will hold and it'll be okay. I haven't bothered to look because I don't care. I do care. I just, it was just frustrating, and I wanted to go to work. So I'm like, as long as it'll hold for me to go to work, I'm going to go to work. And then I'll have to check it, make sure it's still okay, so I don't have to take it back and complain. But then I ended up talking to some guy there about my book while he was trying to fix my car, and I was like, cool. And then he's like, hey, you should bring it by the shop sometime so I can read it. I was like, okay, I didn't catch your name, and I don't know when you work here, and I don't know when my book is going to get published, so I will probably not ever do that. But it's kind of cool that other people, when I talk about my books, they are like, oh, that sounds interesting. I want to read your book. So I'm like, I would really like to have a book that's actually published. So when I talk to people about my book, I go, oh, yeah, here it is, or oh, yeah, go check it out on Amazon, or oh, yeah, go check it out on my website or something. So I'm like, oh, yeah, you can go check it out. Oh, yeah, you can go buy it. Oh, yeah, you can, whatever. And then they could just go look it up and buy it. But it's not published yet, so then it's like, still getting there. So apparently the way I describe it is cool and people want to read my book. So I hope that once I get it published, because I can continue to talk to people, I can tell them, hey, go check it out, go check it out. And then the more random people that check it out and read it, they can share it with more other random people that I don't know, and the more people that will read my book. So it will spread by word of mouth, like in-person word of mouth, through YouTube videos, if people start watching my YouTube videos, online marketing things, all of those fun, fabulous things. But I know it's going to take time. It's not going to be like an overnight success. I don't know, I had a crazy thought in my head that says want to bet, but I don't want to bet. But I don't know what miracles God has in store or what's going to happen once I get my books published. Looking forward to getting them published, still just kind of feeling like I'm stuck in the process, or like I know what the process is, and I'm trying not to jump ahead, because there's no point. I mean, I could go through and try to make revisions on my book on my own. I just want to know what other people's questions or things are about it, and if I can just get 4 or 5 people's responses, or even 3 or 4 people's responses, I'm like, I got one, I can go back through and just do the one. But then if someone else, I don't want to change stuff if other people don't have the same problems with it. So I want to find something that, shows consistency. And then I want to go back through and read it and see what everybody else thinks, compare it, do the compare and contrast thing, and then decide what needs to change and what doesn't. And then I'll be like, and this is what I feel like I need to do. And then this will be my final version. And then I need to send it to find someone to edit it and get my book cover done. So I can send it to an editor and bug my friend about the book cover, and then I can combine the two and publish it. That's the idea. Getting the beta readers and the responses so I can do the revisions is not easy. It's where I'm kind of stuck. So maybe at some point when I can get my schedule sorted out and I'm actually available between 10 and 3 to work on my stuff, or even noon and 3, something to that effect, something, then I can start bugging people about that and making a little bit more headway. But in the meantime, I'm making some headway with the Fall of Espinglanja and combining chapters and figuring out ideas as things that I need to add or subtract or whatever to make it make a little bit more sense to the reader, and hopefully have it be a book that people can open up and read and understand without having to read Little A and the Teachers of Powers, but have the option to read it so that it kind of, they get to know the characters a little bit better before they read the book. But if not, that's okay. And then they might get to know them a little bit more if I write more books about it. But I have a feeling I need to jump to the Wise One because I keep praying about stuff and the Wise One keeps popping into my head. And I'm like, I'm not ready for that one. But I feel like maybe I need to finish that one too. So another book, jumping ahead in the series. Um, like I said, I'm in the middle of like 4 books in this series, and one is complete, one needs to be completely rewritten, and the other 2 I'm just kind of in the middle of. So random where my brain goes with all the different writings will be interesting to see what I actually choose to work on and finish. And right now it's just been the Fall of Espinglanja because that just seems easy enough to just pull up and work on and try to do without having to look at other people's stuff. And I was hoping not to think too much, but I'm still overthinking it. And like I said, I finished tonight thinking I'm done, and then I'm like, oh, but I need to find this. So I found the quote, not the quote, but I found the description I had before. I'm like, I need to add that, but I need to adjust it so it fits with what I have now currently. And then I'm like, I'm too tired, I'm not going to do that. And then I write in my journal and I'm like, yeah, no, I got to go back and add this other stuff. So I do not have a shortage of ideas or creativity flowing. My problem is just getting myself to set aside the time to sit down and write. And I think it would be nicer if I had a little bit more time. Because right now I'm only spending like half an hour, 20 minutes or something because it's at the end of my day and I'm too tired and I don't want to stay up all night, which I have done before and I can do. And I could probably literally spend like 2 hours working on my book and I wouldn't even realize the time or how tired I was until I was like, couldn't keep my eyes open anymore. And I just don't think that's healthy. So this is another reason why I need to do it before, so that I have a timer I can set and be like, all right, cut off time because we have to go to work. And if I, run into work a little bit, I can extend work a little bit, just not too much, because again, I need to get some sleep in there somehow. I need to train my body to sleep for more than 5 hours a night too, which I've started to do. I've started sleeping more like 6 or 7 hours, which I'm grateful for. Very grateful for that. I want to continue to convince my body to sleep for that long because I feel a little more rested, have a little more energy, get through the day a little bit better when I sleep a little bit more. Um, Ideally, I think I need 7 to 9 hours of sleep, but I've been getting like 5 or 6. So part of the reason I'm tired all the time is I just keep waking up. So I am grateful that I was able to do all of this today and that I get to go to bed now because I am tired. And I'm grateful that I can still find things to be grateful for and that things are working out, even if it's not quite the schedule that I envision. And hopefully, at some point, probably next week, I will be able to get things flipped around and working the way that I think they're supposed to. I don't know. It probably will never work the way that I think it's supposed to, but hopefully it'll work a little bit more smoothly and I will have some little better writing time because I know my mentor would say that writing time is sacred time, so I need to have that writing time set aside as sacred time, and that's the time for me to write. And it needs to be my non-negotiable things, like with my scriptures and meditationals, non-negotiable, journaling, non-negotiable, YouTube videos, non-negotiable, and now my writing, non-negotiable, has to be done. And it can be done at any time during the day. I just feel like I think that it would be better if I did it before work instead of after. But I've managed to do it for the last 3 days after work just because I don't want to stop. I don't want to stop my momentum. I want to keep it going. I want my flow to continue to go because I'm afraid if I'm stop, I just won't start again. Or I will, but it will be months, weeks, months, years, whatever. And I don't want to disappoint myself like that again. And I know that I can do better. I deserve better. I want better. And I want to be a better example, like for myself and for other people and for anybody that's watching these videos. I'm like, hey, I'm doing this. I may be tired. I may be for only half an hour, but I'm doing this. And eventually I'm going to get through this book and I'm going to get through the other books and I'm going to get them published. And anyone watching these videos is going to see that, going to see my struggle, going to see the process. And maybe you're going through the same struggle. Maybe you're going through the same process. And hopefully this will give you some hope that there is a light at the end of the tunnel and it's not a train. It is success. It is doable. It is possible. It's just going to take a lot of work. And maybe there's a lot of things you have to overcome to get there. But I'm willing to do the work and I'm willing to continue for the next 97 days to see where it goes. And then I will probably do another 100 days of something like marketing or whatever. I don't know, because at the end of this 100 days series, I may come up with something else I need to do, or I may decide that I just need to do another 100 days of writing. I don't know yet. We'll see what happens. But I'm grateful that I'm able to make this video, and I'm grateful I was able to get all the things I needed to done today, and especially grateful for all the ideas that are flowing for my books and for my writing, and that I can find some other people, even if it's just to swap stories. I will just have to make time to read and review someone else's books along with writing my own, so that I have someone to swap with, so I can get some reviews or some ideas as to what I need to fix with my book. So I'm grateful for that. And that's all I have. So hope you have some fun writing. Hope you have a great day full of gratitude. And if you like, hit like, subscribe, share with someone else if you think it'll help them. And that's all I have for today. Thank you.